Good win, Ken. What did you like about today's performance?
Just the way we ground out the win, and difficult circumstances, difficult ground, pretty cold. Everything else, good opposition, off a break, off the bye. We needed to find a way to win them. I was really proud of the blokes and the boys, the way they went about everything that we needed to do today. It wasn't a pretty game of footy, but it's not a pretty game of footy weekend. It was pretty slippery all over the place this weekend.
I was going to ask, did the conditions have anything to do with how you guys approached today's game?
A little bit, yeah. Of course, you have to adjust to what you play in and what the conditions are. So, it's something we had to do to make sure we could try and find a way to get a win, and which we did.
Ability to score from turnovers was quite strong today. You guys tried to it seemed like you tried to play a pretty skinny game.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, no, well, because of the conditions, it made it a bit more challenging to try and, and that's what was happening. I think in the second quarter, we're throwing the ball around a little bit too much. The boys were trying to probably fight through a too much contest, and to the Giants' credit, they were able to put us under a fair bit of pressure and turn the ball over in some. But their game is critical around turnover, and we needed to make sure we could at least break even in that area.
It seemed very difficult for both teams to get any real movement into the corridor. Was that by design on your part? Do you think it was a mutual contribution?
Yeah, I think both teams were aware of the strengths of each other, and the conditions made it harder to probably display too many of those strengths for both sides. So I think that combined with intent and energy from both sides to take that away was pretty important.
I guess your goal kicking maybe sort of kept them in it a little bit as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we didn't get great looks. We didn't get great opportunities to score, but we were, we were able to keep the ball in our front half a fair bit. And when you do that, what people don't quite understand is when you play a front of centre game, efficiency goes right through the ground. It goes right through the floor because it's really hard. There's a lot of numbers down there. It's not going to be pretty, but you just got to scrap your way to a win. And that's clearly from where we've been in the first half of the year. We just needed to try and find a way to scrap out a win.
I guess that sort of eases the pressure as well.
What pressure?
I guess there's a lot of talk around yourself and pressure and that sort of things.
Yeah. Continue on, I suppose. It's just going to continue on for the remainder of the season. But what I do know tonight is that helps us get back on track where we want to be. Clearly, we're a long way off where we thought we would be and need to be. But at least we feel like we maybe snuck our head around the corner a little bit just to have a look and see what's next. And we've got a big game next week back at Adelaide.
I don't know if you guys use it. I suspect you might have heard of it once or twice before. X-score. You guys generated quite high value chances. Does that give you some hope when the game's tight that the tide will eventually turn, or is that just an indicator that you might be getting on top of it?
Yeah, well, I think what happens a little bit is, X-score from Ollie Wines and Joey Richards are probably not thinking 6 points.
Yeah.
But some of the ones that we missed, you do. So, it does swings and roundabouts a little bit. You do end up, if you get enough opportunities, you probably nail a couple and, they make up for some of the ones you missed. At the end of the night, all we needed to do is find a way to be in front.
Is that something you use, X-score?
I don't like X-score too much.
You don't like it?
Well, I say to our blokes, our IT blokes who are really good at what they do, can you send that into the AFL and see if they'll give us the 4 points? But they don't seem to ever do that.
So they were trying to use Toby Bedford on different roles on Zach and Connor. How do you go against sort of negating the effect of a tag or like a soft tag?
I think one of the things that you learn and you deal with quickly at AFL level is once you've seen it and exposed it once or twice before, you actually learn each time you have to come up against it. And I think that was Zach and Connor's opportunities tonight, was to know what was probably coming and what was most likely coming their way, and they had some plans in place, and they had a week to prepare for that. So Toby's done some great work on them in the past, but I think we might have got one back tonight, particularly through Zach.
You said during the week that you'd done some adjustments over your mid-season break. That's when you get the time to reschedule. Are you willing to go into what we saw tonight? I know you scored pretty heavily from stoppage tonight. Is that some of the stuff that you were working on? Yeah,
no, tonight's game was probably a bit more around conditions and opposition. I don't think it was around as much around what we've probably tried to work on, because if we played in slightly drier conditions or warmer conditions maybe, we might have been played a slightly different game of footy. As you said, our centre corridor movement was a little bit off, but we played a game tonight that was important to the way we think. If we have to play that style, we know what the ingredients are that helps us win those games.
It's an interesting battle between two young rucks, Dante and
it's good.
There seem to be a lot of ruck free kicks. Are you guys as mystified about some of those as the rest of us? Is there something you've spotted that you think you need to address with Dante?
A little bit. He has some ruck issues at times, but he's a young learning ruck. But free kicks are an interesting thing to talk about sometimes. We're not allowed to.
There's been a bit of chat about goal kicking and goal kicking in general, and you touched on it earlier. How much do you guys practice goal kicking? What's the sort of routine that you guys go through with that?
We do a lot of practice. People think we don't, but it's because we miss a few. But we spend a lot of time on it. They're professional footballers, so they should spend a lot of time on it. And we make sure all parts of our game get a lot of attention and a lot of practice.
Paul Roos in the media said during the week that clubs don't practice as much as they should on goal kicking because they don't get enough contact hours. What would your response to that?
I don't know. I don't need to respond to Paul coached Sydney and Melbourne, so maybe that was their way of doing it. We do spend a lot of time, a lot of quality time on our goal kicking.
It's just one on Kane Farrell. Any concerns? I haven't actually seen it, but his bump on Lecalier. Any concerns there?
No, honestly, I have no idea which. I don't think there was anything out there tonight that was for either side that would have caused any problems. But again, you're not quite sure what the MRO are going to come up with.
So for the next few weeks, is finals still the hope and dream?
Yeah, why wouldn't they be?
Is it firmly building towards? The hope is still alive.
Yeah, we're of the belief that have to do a lot of things right. Clearly, we've put ourselves in an awkward position, but. Look, all we can do is turn up next week and make sure we give the best account of ourselves and try and get another win. And who knows where the journey takes you, but all I know is that in the past we've been able to get on decent runs, we've been able to win lots of games of footy in a row. We're going to live in the space that we believe in ourselves.
And I'll only ask this because this is the single warmest room in Canberra.
Yeah.
How was it on the sideline? I saw the fight MND beanie because I stood on the outer with you on the other side of the ground. It was freezing.
Well, I seen my old mate Fags do it last night in Adelaide, so I was happy that he done it first. So I thought I can get away with it up here. It's an interesting time slot, isn't it? 7:35 in Canberra in winter.
Yeah. We live here and we don't like it.
There's some strange times that we put together. I reckon 1 o'clock might have been slightly better, perhaps, but.
Not today.
No, it wasn't probably today, but it does get cold here quick.
What's the thing think you guys need to work on next week, going into next week's game that came out?
An even performance. Just an even performance, a backup of today's performance, a lot of effort, a lot of energy. Hopefully a little bit cleaner, a little bit more efficient, but lots of things to still work on.
I will say too, Giants ran 4 tall forwards in the fourth quarter. How did you adapt to that sort of change? Was that something you sort of let Sav and Aaliyah work on the floor?
Yeah, well, we had 3 tall backs for the first time this year, so that helps. And Ryan Burton's quite a tall as well. He's 191, so we don't feel like 4 or 3 talls are a significant challenge for us. Sometimes the challenge is what we can do with ball in hand when we've got that many talls. So tonight I was really pleased. I've been really pleased with the Sarver's season. He's had a really strong season, fought back really well.
I think you've said before you let them call their own matchups. Is that what happened tonight again?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, with a bloke like Jesse, who's such a great player and a big worker, you've got to share it around a little bit. But we're lucky we've got 3 tall defenders who are all capable of playing on pretty high quality opponents. Thanks, guys.